Hi guys, Andy here, and today we are playing more a Kathy Rain. Uh, I don't remember what we last did, which I really should remember. I
Hey,
think we
E,
did
got a
talk
sec?
to. Sorry.
Sure thing, Kathy. What's up? What's your opinion on the Church of the Holy Trinity?
They seem like an okay bunch to me. Just your regular old Christians, my kind of crowd.
That's just it. They seem a bit too normal. And there's that logo, too.
It could just be a coincidence, Kathy. The Holy Trinity is typically portrayed as a triangle.
I don't believe in coincidences, E. I believe in action and reaction.
Gee, you sound like a starship captain. Captain Rain of the USS Dignity, here to save the galaxy.
Oh, please, kill me now.
What was it? I think the last part where we left off, we finally got to talk to that bitch Erica Wade. That nice, lovely lady.
What do you think of Lily Meyer's art?
I actually looked her up this morning, and I couldn't find any records of her being recognized as an artist.
Yeah, I doubt there was ever a chance for that to happen. Wade bought everything shortly after she died. I only got a chance to see this one picture. Wasn't all that bad, but nothing breathtaking.
Well, maybe there's more to her art than meets the eye. Something Wade knew, and we're missing.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder what was so special about Lily Myers. Well, besides her being a talented artist who drowned herself in a lake.
I bet there's some secret about her art. Let's hope Charles Wade has some answers.
Okay.
I should get back to the investigation.
Okie dokie.
Can we leave?
All right, I'm off. Peace out, E.
Okie dokie. Good luck and see you later.
Okay, I know we have to go talk to Mr. Charles Wade, who is no doubt responsible for a lot of shit. So many places. Let's go to Nature Reserve.
Well, this is it. This is where the picture was taken. I'm not sure what I expected to find here. I need to clear my head. What the?
We've met before, haven't we?
Nope, just now I remember a creepy bald dude from makeup. I doubt it, you look like you just escaped from a circus. That's not really my kind of gig. I don't think so, Mr. Clean, unless seeing your face on a bottle of detergent counts. Still a creepy.
Nope, just no. I'd remember a creepy bald dude with makeup.
Memories can deceive, Kathy. Dig deeper.
Who are you? How do you know my name?
You told me, remember?
I feel strange. Am I dreaming?
It's the mending I will try to facilitate.
You're not real. I'm lying asleep in my bed right now.
Focus, Kathy. Listen to the drowned girl.
You mean Lily? What about her?
She's the anomaly, the missing refrain, the convergence point of things past and events yet to happen.
Dial down the metaphors a notch, would you, Mr. Kafka? I get enough of that shit in English class.
I knew you wouldn't disappoint. I'm glad, given how much trouble I went through to be here. You see, my name was taken from me, so I claimed a color in its stead. The next time we meet, you'll know the exact hue of red. You're on the right path, Kathy. Follow your grandfather, and everything will work out in the end.
Wait, what? How did I get here? Am I going crazy? Am I turning into Mom?
Maybe. As fun as it would be to talk to Grandma, she is not our objective. It's what's his face. I can't remember his name.
Yep, it's full of trash. Figure that. We meet again, Mr. Homeless Guy.
Homeless? That's the worst thing I ever heard of, and totally untrue.
So, what's up with the trash can? Digging for treasure?
Well, I'm just going through a rough patch. By the way, you owe me $10.
Nah, you agreed to 7.
You're busting my balls here.
Better get those balls checked out in this clinic then.
So cold. Like a stake through the heart.
What do they call you anyway?
Gober. Everyone calls me Gober.
All right, I'm Kathy.
Pleasure to meet you.
So, what's your story anyway?
My story?
Yeah, don't all bums have a story?
For your information, this is all just a dry streak in my showbiz career.
Is that so? I don't recognize you at all.
I used to have more hair.
That I actually believe.
Come on, man. Frankie Gold is my stage name. Surely you must have heard of me.
Not really, no.
Oh, come on. I have starred in dozens of Hollywood movies. The Silence of the Lambert, Jacob's Bladder, The Usual Surprises, Natural Bald Killers.
Not ringing any bells.
Kids these days, no appreciation for quality cinema. Breaks my heart.
So, tell me about this acting career of yours.
What about it?
Tell me about The Silence of Lambert.
Lawrence Lambert, a real estate agent, suddenly turns mute overnight. For weeks, he tries to communicate with customers using a self-invented sign language, only to realize that true love needs no communication at all. He marries his housekeeper, who only knows 2 words in English, yes and clean. In the end, Lawrence dies of a heart attack in the arms of his lovely wife, Consuelo Lambert Vasquez. Based on a true story.
I'm not sure I want to know what Jacob's Bladder is about, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Jacob's Bladder. The tragic story of Jacob Cobb, a schizophrenic man who forms an imaginary romantic relationship with his bladder. During long and joyful monologues on the can, he starts referring to his nether regions by the name of Jenny. Sadly, before Jacob has a chance to elope with his sweetheart, he gets committed to an asylum due to increasingly erratic behavior. After a big fight with his paramour, Jacob refuses to pee for a week, and he dies from a ruptured bladder.
Amazing.
Give me the rundown on The Usual Surprises.
A lighthearted comedy taking place during the surprise birthday party of 34-year-old Sid McBacon. The story is told from 8 different perspectives to keep the audience guessing who the protagonist actually is. The movie ends with the biggest surprise of them all. Sid suddenly dies of an epileptic seizure. I guess it's more of a dark comedy.
Natural Bald Killers?
It's a dystopian vision of the future where people are valued by the quality of their hair. The protagonist, Eddie Zephyr, turns bald in high school. One day, he has simply had enough of all the teasing and the bullying, and he completely snaps and heads out on a scalping spree in search of the perfect head of hair. Eddie makes his way to Mexico for an illegal hair transplant. However, he has an adverse reaction to the anesthesia and he dies on the operating table.
Amazing.
Oh, never mind.
Not the cultured type. I understand.
I need to ask you a few questions.
Sounds serious. Ask away.
What's your opinion on the Church of the Holy Trinity?
I'd say they're good people. Isaac the priest is, anyway. His dad, Father Bill, on the other hand, though, he and the people he had around him were into some weird shit.
What kind of weird shit?
I don't know, they were like a cult or something, with Billy Praise himself at the top. Really shifty bunch of folks. Isaac turned it all around when his dad kicked the bucket, made it a proper church.
Interesting. Do you know anyone else who was involved in the old church?
Not really. I tried to stay as far away from those people as possible. Ask Isaac about it. He's a friendly guy.
All right, I might do that. Do you know who Charles Wade is?
Sure, he's been holed up in this clinic for the last couple of weeks.
You saw Charles Wade go in there?
Well, yeah. I just told you, man.
How did he look?
Okay, I guess. Still walking, at least.
Do you know who Lily Myers was?
Yep, my dad was the one who found her floating in the lake.
Really? What can you tell me about her?
Ah, geez, not a lot. I mean, teenage girls, man, they're like their own species. Impossible to figure out. Not to mention how that entire family ain't, like, people-friendly.
Now that's an understatement. Nearly started brawling with Sue the first time I met her.
She could sure deal out a mean whooping, that lady.
What do you know about Lily Myers' art?
Nothing but hearsay. People say it was pretty deranged.
Deranged, huh?
Do you know what happened to Joseph Rain in '81?
I most certainly do.
What? Tell me.
Are you sure you want to know? Not everyone can handle the truth.
Oh, just spit it out.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Abducted by aliens.
I should have known better.
Oh, I saw it, man. A big, huge light. I was a bit drunk at the time, but I had my reasons.
Can
My
you not
wife
do
had
that,
just
Carl?
left me, taking the dog, not to mention I was being conscripted for the war. But I'm
The
telling
war.
you, those goddamn aliens took him and they experimented on him. And that's why he was so messed up when they put him back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop you there.
Open your mind, man.
Okay, that's an.
Alrighty.
Okay, I'm.
Bye.
Excuse me, nurse? Hey, nurse!
Yeah?
Try not to strain yourself.
Whatever. What do you want?
I'm here to see Charles Wade.
Never heard of him. Anything else?
Bullshit. I know he's here. Listen, it's okay. I'm a friend of the family.
No, you're not, and I said he's not here. Don't make me call security.
What a bitch. I need to get rid of her somehow.
Thanks, Obamacare.
Hey, doofus.
Oh, hi.
So, how good an actor are you?
The best. The very best.
You know, that nurse in there, she said she loved you in all those movies, and that she always wished you'd give her a live performance.
I knew it. She always gave me these strange looks. I thought it was contempt, but her face must just be cramping up from shyness.
Yeah, that's definitely it. She'd love to see you act, I'm sure.
I'm gonna have to oblige. Which movie do you think she'd like the best?
How about The Usual Surprises?
Business as usual.
Sorry if I'm not talking a lot. There's just so much voice
I
acting.
can't believe you guys did all this for me. You know, what's that smell? Bacon? Oh, Bobby, my head hurts. I'm seizing.
Nurse, he's seizing!
Oh, shit!
Man, I feel like a total jackass. I'll have to make it up to the poor guy later. Employee of the Month, Carlita Mendez. Ugh, what a joke. It's that obnoxious nurse.
Shit. Anything I can do? Can I... rummage through the
Rows
file?
and columns of file. Employee of the month. A calendar from 19... Smoking allowed. That doesn't take
Well then.
a computer. No point. I wouldn't even know what room to go to.
Okay, give me 1 second. I gotta fucking Google this now. Because, I mean, it's not that obvious, is it? I mean, trying to find a fucking password? Let's see, let's see. Let's see. It has to be C. Mendes. I mean, I think that's it. That has to be right, right? Okay, I tried using the floppy disk, but it didn't want to go. I mean, Otor Gator. Okay. So if anybody wants to know what the password is, it is... Oh man, come on. Let's see. Do we got anything we can use?
It's labeled.
C. Mendes Gator. That's what I typed in. It didn't want to go through. There you have the... Okay. Let's see. He's in Sidsby. Okay, awesome.
It's all right, Claude.
Understood, sir.
So, you managed to find me.
I did.
Well, let's get this over with then. How do you want your pictures? Shall I get some tubes to fill my face with? Will that suffice for your front page?
I'm no journalist. Well, not yet anyway.
Ah, she's but a cub. So, you're hoping for your big break. Surely this must be worth an internship at one of the big papers. Do you want me to call Thompson at the Times and get it over with? I still play golf with him every once in a while.
Okay, sorry about that. My mom came home. I had to talk with her for a few minutes. Let's see.
I don't need to piggyback on favors. I make my own way.
A stance I can respect. Very well, you have piqued my curiosity. Who are you?
I'm Kathy Rain. Joseph was my grandfather.
Now I remember. You were at the funeral.
I was.
You were late.
I needed my morning smoke. Besides, it's not like Grandpa was going anywhere.
Oh, just look at her, Claude. She's absolutely fearless. That's Joseph's blood running through her veins.
She certainly has a smart mouth, sir.
I must say,
That's
you
Heather
have me
Elizondo.
intrigued, Kathy. What can this old man help you with?
Do you recognize the call sign Cocky?
Would be strange if I didn't, since I was the one who coined it. It belongs to a fellow named Jimmy Cochran. He was a coward, really. The nickname is somewhat of a bad joke.
Chicken Heart
Perfect.
Vickers.
Thanks. Tell me about Jimmy Cochran. Is he still alive?
In a literal sense. He's been held in a mental institution for years.
Fantastic.
Let me guess. Since 81?
Either 82 or 83. I'm fairly certain it was early 83.
Do you remember the name of the institution?
Something starting with an E. Emerson, Everton, or similar.
Ingstrom? Ingstrom Psychiatric Hospital?
Yes, that's the one. You know the place, Kathy.
Like I said, I don't have any reason to lie.
I do. My mother is in there. Sharon Evans? I had her committed about a year ago.
I see. It must have taken a lot of courage to do that, Kathy. Mothers have a lot of power over us. More than most of us care to admit.
I guess so. Do you know why Jimmy ended up in there?
Some obsessive-compulsive syndrome. He became fixated with circles and started hurting himself, trying to scratch the circles out of his head.
Creepy. I wonder what set him off. I think I'll check the place out tomorrow. Too late to head back to the city now.
Awesome. Lady Myers.
You bought a number of paintings by Lily Myers. Why?
I'm known to dabble in art from time to time. Martha, my wife at the time, was enamored with the paintings. I believe she first saw them at the high school which the Myers girl attended. Anyway, after the poor girl killed herself, I bought the paintings speculatively. When a young artist with any talent to speak of commits suicide, it can be a wet dream of certain connoisseurs. Shortly after procuring the art, I had it valued by an expert who determined that the value was 3 times the amount I bought it for. Today, I'm sure I would have made my money back tenfold or more if it wasn't for the art theft.
What art theft?
There was a burglary at the mansion I used to own here in town. It was all over the local news at the time.
Well, shit.
Eloquently put.
Okay, apologies for that again. Why is it so difficult recording Kathy Rain? I can record every other game without people
Can
interrupting
you tell me about the art theft?
Well, somebody broke in, stole the paintings, and got out. Fairly clumsy job. Lots of broken windows. The strangest thing was that I had a Monet, a Rembrandt, and 2 paintings by Picasso, untouched. But every single painting by an unknown local artist, gone.
That can't be a coincidence.
Agreed. Somebody wanted those paintings badly.
I assume there was an investigation.
Yes, Sheriff Truman came by with his deputy a few hours later, but they didn't have much luck. They found a few hairs, which turned out to be from Ruffles, the family dog.
Some stunning police work right there.
Indeed. There was a single witness, though, who said he could make out multiple burglars leaving the scene of the crime, but nothing more than that.
So, I take it the case was closed?
Yes. I honestly didn't care much one way or the other, given the fact that my most expensive pieces were safe and sound.
I think I'll have a chat with the sheriff about the matter, if that's okay with you.
Certainly. I'll call ahead and instruct him to give you everything you need.
That'd be great. Thanks, Charles.
And I'll be right back
Anytime.
again.
But I'm curious, what's your interest in the paintings?
I've learned that my grandfather went to Sue and asked to see them, right before he had his injury.
Is that so? Strange.
I want to say that's the last interaction, but I'm probably lying.
What can you tell me about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
They seem like any other church to me. But then again, I'm not their usual clientele. Weddings, baptisms, and funerals are just about what I can muster. And I always leave early.
Me too.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in '81?
I wish I did, Kathy. You must know I did everything in my power to help. How do you think Mary Elizabeth could afford all that expensive treatment? MRIs, neurologists, say what you will about Joseph. But he was never rich.
Strange. Grandma never mentioned that to me.
She's just too proud. At first she refused. She was convinced that I had an agenda, that there were strings attached.
And were there?
Don't be silly. Despite all that had happened, I still loved Joseph dearly. I wanted to help. People from places like this have a deeply rooted mistrust in the rich, passed on for generations. In her eyes, I had become one of them.
So that's all you know about the whole affair?
Are you implying that there's more to know? I left the diagnosis to the professionals. Mrs. Rain accepted the health care, but asked me to stay out of everything else. So I did.
I see. What can you tell me about your friendship with Grandpa?
Joseph was the best friend I ever had. We grew up together, married our high school sweethearts together, went to war together. I can't even begin to count the number of times he's saved my life. I repaid the favor once or twice, but he came up ahead, no doubt.
So, when did you two lose touch? I heard that something happened between you and him. What was it?
The truth is, Brian Rain happened. Sharon Evans happened.
My parents?
Yes. They ruined everything with their vile, destructive behavior. I couldn't have that around my daughter or my newborn grandson. Joseph was naive. He believed that anyone could be helped, that anyone could be reasoned with, given a chance. He was just too good, bless him. He should have been harder on Brian, more strict.
Agree with him about tough love. Tell him Grandpa's not to be blamed or say nothing. Tough love.
I wouldn't mind teaching my old man some manners myself, wherever he is.
Yes, of course. You must understand this better than anyone. People like your father simply cannot grasp how far their bad influence spreads. So our families started drifting apart. Eventually, my company grew much too large for this little town, and we moved on. Not long after that, your grandfather ended up in that wheelchair. That marked the end of our friendship, for obvious reasons.
Do you recognize this, Charles?
Of course. Your grandfather, me, Jimmy Cochran, taken shortly before we went to the war.
Vietnam
You guys
War?
look like you just won the lottery or something.
Indeed. We were mere children, with no concept of what we were getting into.
Or Korean War. Has to be one of those two. Maybe World War II, despite states in the 90s. But they're still relatively young.
What do you see in this picture, Charles?
Fireflies would be my best guess. They can grow terribly large around these parts.
Thanks, Charles. That's all I need for now.
You're welcome, Kathy. Come back anytime.
Let's head to the church, and that will be our final stop for today.
Hello, Father.
Greetings, my child. I'm glad you decided to come here.
Yeah, but just so you know, I'm not here to join your church or anything.
Oh, I would never assume that.
Good. So, with that out of the way, I have some questions.
Anything you need. I'm Isaac Price.
Kathy Rain, but I'm guessing you figured that out already.
I did. Rumors spread quickly around here. So how can I be of service?
Care to tell me the history of the church?
I'd be happy to. The story is a fascinating one. This church was founded by my father, William T. Price, in the 70s. Back then, he made his living as a traveling salesman and was driving through this area as he'd done so many times before. However, this day was different. My father held dark thoughts in his mind. He was angry, thinking of evil deeds, even considering swerving off the road into a rock and ending it all. Then suddenly,
that sounds
divine
fun.
intervention. 3 bright lights appeared. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the sign of God. This epiphany was the moment my father had been waiting for. He sold all of his belongings and took me and my brother to live with him here in Conwell Springs. Soon thereafter, he built this church and started gathering followers. They began to refer to him as Father Bill.
I take it that window up there resembles what he saw when he had this epiphany?
Indeed, the stained glass window depicts the Holy Trinity as witnessed by my father.
Do you know exactly when or where this event took place?
Why do you ask?
Oh, just curious. It's a captivating story.
Well, it was in the spring of 1971, but my father never told anyone where.
Okay, so what happened then?
People flocked to Father Bill. He started teaching, writing scripture. The church flourished and continued to grow all the way up until his sudden death in 1983. That's when I stepped in to take leadership of the church.
I take it that the church started declining after the death of Father Bill?
Yes, naturally so. With such a magnetic personality, he was irreplaceable. But I assure you the church is still very much thriving.
Looks kinda empty to me.
It's not really our peak hours.
What's up with you handing out pamphlets at funerals then? Trying to reel people in at a weak moment?
I'm going to assume you meant no disrespect, child. I'm simply providing divine guidance when it's needed the most.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in '81?
It was the work of the devil, I'll say that much. Joseph was a kind man. He did not deserve such a fate. You heard my speech at the funeral, Kathy. I meant every word. He was a great man who did much good for this community.
Did you know him personally?
In a way, he and my father did charity work together. Joseph was around a lot when I was young. They collaborated on a few different projects for the homeless and for the troubled youth, among other things.
So my grandfather was a member of the church?
I wouldn't say that, no. He was a friend of the church, but he wasn't a religious man. He believed only in philanthropy. That being said, Joseph was the person who convinced me to become a priest.
Really?
Oh yes, I was a teenager back then, full of rebellion, every fiber of my being wanting to distance myself from my father. Joseph made me realize my sinful pride and showed me how I should follow my heart regardless of what others might think. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Does the name Lily Myers mean anything to you?
It does. I was a substitute teacher in her high school for some time before I was ordained.
Really? Did you know her personally?
We weren't close. I only knew her as much as a teacher would know any student.
All right, so how did she seem toward the end?
For one, she started skipping school a lot, and when she did show up, she was absent-minded and moody. She always looked depressed and hunched down like she had a whole world on her shoulders.
Any idea of what caused this change?
Not a clue. All I know is that when she returned from that last summer break, she was a whole different person.
Do you know anything about an art theft at the Wade estate in the 80s?
I have just a vague memory of reading about it in the paper.
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
I don't recognize that name, no.
I could, but I think I have more to gain. I'll keep it to myself. That's all I need for now, Father.
May the Lord shine his light on you.
A striking resemblance, to say the least.
Okay, I guess I will end this episode of Kathy Rain here. I hope you enjoyed it with all the interruptions and editing. I seriously did not want to edit again. But yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.